All right. Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Finally, I know that there were a lot of people asking me what happened with your podcast with Susan. He never came out, and you went to Brazil and you forgot. I said no.
Yeah.
We had a little glitch, guys. We actually filmed a whole hour conversation, which was amazing. I wanted to catch up with her anyway, so it wasn't wasted at all. But we had difficulties in downloading the episode, so we are going to redo it again. And I think it's gonna be a little bit better because there were a few things there that I was like, maybe we shouldn't have said that.
Right.
But Susan, how is it going? You are on your off season right now. You're getting ready for another season. How are
Yeah.
you feeling?
I feel great. I feel like it's like as I get older, like I'm gonna be 46 next month. So it's just kind of like, each year I'm just like, am can I make more progress? Like have I hit my plateau? Like have I hit the limit? Like and I just feel like I keep making progress. So I'm like, I'm here for it. So working with,
That's that's
Dominic, as my
amazing.
coach, and then working with Stan as in some doing some training. And um yeah, I was just comparing some pictures from January last year to January this year, and it's like worlds apart. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. Dom actually showed me the before and after.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I really want to post that, but I know I have to ask her first.
I was thinking about posting it, but I was thinking next time I do my progress pictures, maybe I'll brush my hair a little bit more and like,
You know
because
how we women are, we're like, "Why did I leave that trash in the back? Why
I
is my hair
know,
like that?" And
but
then
whenever you just
meanwhile, the
do
guys are
them,
like, "I'm looking at the gains."
I know, like when you're doing them every week, you just don't really care. But like whenever my friend David, he wanted to post one. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm thinking, okay, let me just do a better one next time. Let me brush my hair and maybe put on a little eyeliner or something. I don't
But
know.
I actually like that about you, and I like that about people that think about the details because I've seen before some check-ins that I'm like, "Girl,
Yeah.
I mean, could you at least, like, fix your house?" Like, clean a little bit of background.
I know. I do not want to be that person. Like, yeah.
No,
And because
me
it's out
either.
there, like, and then you see it all the time and you're like, why? Why did I do that?
But, yeah, no, I see the before and after, and it's amazing. I mean, just to start with the comment, I mean, it's crazy. You're 46, but you look so much younger.
You.
And in my mind, I feel like 46 is the new 30s, like, because we are breaking, boundaries of like just the human body. I see that is one particular person that I follow from Brazil. She's 52 years old and she looks so freaking good, and it's like there is no more like I'm older, so and I had kids and it's just now I look like this. No,
Yeah,
it's your choice.
I know. I'm
It's
playing the
your
game.
but that is to I think we said that in our previous episode too, that it comes with taking the time to gain some muscle in the correct way, not speeding things up too much with the use of certain supplements to help with, muscle gain and skin care and all of those things that's going to pay dividends later on.
Yeah. Yes, I do all the things.
I know you and we always like share a lot of things for skincare, and I love that we have that too, that common thing that we can like share with each other. But I
Yes.
think it's important for us to remind the girls that look up to us, as women's physique or women in even in different categories, that it's so important to keep up with the skincare, either, whatever, either skin or the toxin, what they call toxins, right? With the
Yeah.
Botox or
Yeah.
yeah. There are little things that, some tricks that I believe you do too, like making sure, that, it's applied also in the jaw, especially the amount of food that we eat and, sometimes the force that we use too, that's kinda like hard to avoid when we're lifting too heavy. So
Yeah.
remember looking at my face when I first started, my jaw was really pronounced.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I'll show you some pictures. It was really pronounced because I was doing all the things, right? I was eating quite often. I was chewing a lot of gum because I guess it's part of the prep for some people when they took it.
I'm a gum chewer.
So, that changed a lot when I started applying my jaw. It got so much better.
Yeah, I've seen incredible before and afters, like, when people really need it. This is pretty crazy when they put the Botox in the jaw.
Yeah, that is one thing that when I was in Brazil, I was speaking to somebody who is a dermatologist. She said that is a new thing now that they do for the chin, where they put a little bit of fillers in the chin to kind
Mhm,
of get a bit more of like a shape here too.
for
I thought
sure.
that was a thing. So it's just taking care of it, just the same attention that we put in our bodies, put in
Yeah, I
our
mean,
face.
I feel like we're, filler and stuff is a little above and beyond in, like,
Yeah,
Botox, but I just feel like even just good skincare and, yeah, just keeping up, sunscreen
definitely.
is a huge one.
Sunscreen. I know, because I love the sun, and I know it can be very, very bad for your skin. So I'm being better with that.
I just get out first thing in the morning 'cause they say, like, the first hours of the sun is, like, the best and not as, um, bad for you, so I'm out there first thing, get that
And I
morning.
know that you like to walk a lot too. You do a lot of the hikes with your dog, so you're always moving. You're always outdoors.
Yeah, always have a hat.
Which with that in that subject too, I think that as every time that I walk outside and I take my dog or I go on hike, I think that it gives a much better like um kind of like routine too, as far as like cardio goes, getting out a little bit, being in the sun instead of being on the treadmill inside all the time.
Well, and they say too, getting that first sunlight helps set your circadian rhythm and it helps you sleep better and, your off and on switch, so and your cortisol, so I'm a believer in it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
I would, yeah, I think that the better I get with bodybuilding, the further I get from the old school bodybuilding mindset of you go to the gym, you train like crazy, and you come back home and you eat and you sleep. There are
Yeah.
so many other things that you needed to add. The meditation, the recovery with sauna or massage, or taking the time to like on a Sunday do something outside of the routine, maybe go shoot guns or play pool or go watch a movie in the movie theater and take your celery and your
Yeah.
cucumber. Those are
Yeah.
the little hacks that I learned to implement is like take Sunday sometimes to do something outside of the norm.
Yes. I know, I need to work on that, but yeah.
At least once in a while,
Yeah.
because then you just
I
get
think it's
to
good. Yeah. And I
yeah,
live
it
in
feels.
Vegas. I'm like, "Why can't I ever find to do?" There's, like, a million things to do here.
I know. I think that one thing that I would be interested in doing is just kind of looking for some different maybe conventions to go to. I know last weekend they had a huge convention here for technology, and just going to see people that are interested in different things.
Yeah.
Like they kind of they're expert in the things that we are kind of experts in, like the nutrition, because they look at us, they're like, oh my gosh, I find it so interesting that you know all of these things, and for us, it's like, yeah, oh, that's what I do it every day.
Yeah.
So when you get out and you talk to people that are into different things, it's kind of refreshing,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, I think that that was one of the questions from somebody when I posted that I was going to do a podcast with you last month. A lot of people were interested in your season calendar. What is going on if you're going to hit some shows in the beginning of the year, the end of the year? What are you planning? I don't know. Does the Master Olympia happen every year or every two
I think
years?
they're doing it every other year. I think
Okay.
that's confirmed for now.
Okay, so they don't have this year.
No.
Okay. So what's going on with you?
So, yeah,
With
I've been, in my off season, so I competed through in August, and that was my last show, and then, I took some time and went home and saw my family, and then, yeah, I've been, eh, really in my off season for quite some time now. I feel like I've made some good, progress, and, yeah, so we're gonna probably rolling into a prep here, um, the end of February. probably, middle of February, kind of depending on exactly what I do. You know, I'm kind of thinking, so the New York Pro, I think, is one of the first. I mean, there's shows, but the first open show, there's a couple master shows earlier, but I think the first open category show is the New York Pro. And I've never done it. And I just think, I feel like it's just an experience as a pro athlete I should do. So yeah, if I can make everything line up right, maybe start with the New York, um, and then I don't know, Pittsburgh would be cool to do too, and then Omaha, and then Optimum. But I got to pick and choose. I got to be smart. So, but yeah, my plan is to be earlier in the season.
I think that I recall you telling me that last year you felt that you did 2 shows, but they were kind of back to back and you felt a little short, like
It's good.
short-lived,
Well, you're like you
right?
do all this for like the whole year, and it was like literally like it was 6 days because one show was like on a Saturday and one was on a Friday. So it was just like, and then it was like over. And granted, like I just kind of feel like, I don't know. I feel like I had some other things I wanted to do last year, and so my heart just kind of like wanted to transition out of prep and into doing some like more personal things I wanted to do last year.
I feel that, you and I have something in common that I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong or not. I think that you and I are every prep, we're falling in love a little bit more with the process and actually competing, as opposed to a lot of women, they fall out of love.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause I noticed with you, like, the transitioning of, like, you potentially thinking that you didn't wanna compete anymore, and then competing in the Olympia, and then last year competing and having an incredible season, and then now that I talk every time that I talk with you, I feel like you are just excited about competing.
yeah. I would say like, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and there was in the beginning. I just really like I loved competing, but it was just I couldn't get my act together, and then when I did, it was like really really challenging. I just because I don't think my life aligned with prep, But I'm in this place in my life right now that you know prep is just like it's fun. It's like I'm in this atmosphere with, lots of, like-minded people and yeah, I just think that, I guess as you get older too. I mean, prep is demanding and kind of boring. Like your life is kind of boring, but as you get old, you kind of get boring. So maybe it works out like that for me.
But the thing is that, like, everything can turn out to be a little boring if you don't like, put some kind of, like,
Yeah.
sparkling things in it, right? Like,
Well, I
for
mean, I don't
example
find it boring, but I think people outside of
yeah,
my life find it like,
right,
I'm
so
excited when I get up and I have this, like, long to-do list, and then at the end of the day, I can get into bed and be like, just know that I did it all and I accomplished it, and I'm gonna do it all again the next day, and yeah.
yeah, because I feel like I don't know about you, but sometimes when I am in prep, I feel like I can't wait to get out of prep so I can do X, Y, and Z, and then when I am out of prep, I'm like, I kinda I miss my structure, and I feel I miss, like, waking up in the morning and being like, "Let's fucking go."
Yeah. Yes, there's just, like, a drive that is like yeah, it's like, it's kind of annoying, but it, like, just gets just feel like you're just living a little more, just
Yeah,
yeah.
and but I love that we have a balance of both, right? So when we are in off season, we can maybe take a little bit of advantage of doing things a little bit outside of from the routine, and then when we are on prep, we get just in this robot mode that not a lot of people like ever experience in their lives. What is to like really be dialed in something and just go and have this goal that you have to achieve and really consistently be executing.
Yeah,
It's just so even
24/7.
Hmm?
It's 24/7. It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Even when I went to Brazil now, I spent almost 4 weeks with my family. I had a great time, spent a lot of time with my mom. But there were times that I was kinda, like, sitting down and having a glass of wine with her, and maybe it was, like, the 3rd day we were doing that, and I was like, "I can't do this anymore."
I don't
Like
know. I feel like I get in that place and I'm like, Oh, no, is this my life now? Am I just gonna have wine every night?
I know. I'm like kind of looking at my abs. I'm like, are they going? Are they leaving me right now?
But then that's when you have to refocus the attention on the amazing time you get to spend with your mom and,
Mhm.
the lightheartedness because you're having the wine and, it's
I
all
know. I was very happy, and I told this to Dom. I said, like, babe, I this is the first time that I had like the dessert. I had a little piece of cake, let's say, or a little piece of chocolate, or maybe like a piece of bread that my mom loves to make every time I go there. And my mind didn't go crazy.
that's a win.
Oh my gosh, it felt so refreshing.
Yes.
And I know it sounds a little crazy, but I think every women, knows what I'm talking about. What is to have those voices in your head completely shut off and you're just in peace with having something that is not healthy or qualified as like a healthy meal, and you are at peace.
Yeah. That is that's good progress.
Yeah, because it's a long story, but when I was in my early 20s, I had a little difficulty with, I mean, my entire 20s, to be honest, until up to my early 30s. I
Yeah.
had a hard time really having a good relationship with food. But my relationship with food is a little different than what happens to the majority of people, where they go to food where they use it to relax, is their sense, is their way to distress, or if they are even emotional, they go and they rely on foods that are going to make them feel better. And after a few years, you see a massive weight gain, a massive
Mhm.
body composition change. In my mind, it was kind of like the opposite. I wanted to kind of tell myself, like, Amanda, you're in your early 20s. Your friends are going out right now to have a burger. And here you are thinking about how detrimental this is going to be for your body, and how you're going to feel like shit the next day and not going to be able to go to the gym. Can you just shut it off? Be normal. Go have a burger with your friends. Have a good time. But I couldn't. So every time that somebody would ask me to go out or to go to a party with them, um, or the holidays, I would freak out
Yes.
because I would be like, they're going to be eating, they're going to be drinking. I don't want to do that. I'm going to be forced to do that. And I'm going to want to do that. I'm not going to go, or I'm going to go. And then I'm going. So it's like, it was very tiring.
No, yeah, and I feel the same, like, because my thing is, like, I will go and, like, eat all the burgers, all the fries, have dessert, that's what I don't wanna do, I'm okay, going and having, maybe half a burger, if it's a huge burger, or just eating in moderation, just I have a tendency to wanna overdo it, and so if I can go in and have a normal serving of a hamburger and a normal serving of french fries and even, like, a couple bites of dessert, that's a win for me. When I don't eat all my dessert and then somebody else's leftovers and then get a second. That's when I get frustrated.
It's just that extreme mindset, right? It's like, I know this is my chance to eat everything, because comes tomorrow, I'm going to be back on a diet. So I'm just going to eat everything.
Yes, that's just an awful mindset. And I don't even, I mean, and think like, how do you get from there to here? I don't know. I just think it's just, you got to keep just being aware and, you know, just
It's a
personal development.
marathon. It's really a marathon of being around the people that inspire you, that hold you accountable, um, having those hard conversations with yourself after the fact, after you go through a binge or you go through whatever, and having that hard conversation where you're like, why did you do that again? You know you're not gonna feel good. This
Hmm.
is, you know what I mean? I would used to I remember when I did a little bit of therapy when I was having a very hard time, the beginning of my college years, I would diet for a long time, for let's say 10 days. I was very into ketogenic diet because I would always be studying
Mm.
about nutrition. Even though I was in school for hospitality, I would be constantly studying about nutrition. And I remember bumped into a book about the art of the low carb living, and I got obsessed, and then I started practicing and following all the guidelines from the book. And I was running every morning. I was going to the gym. I was going to school. I was working. So I would do that for 10 days or a week, and I would feel miserable because I was probably eating 1,000 calories and
Yeah.
exercising like a maniac. And then I would binge for a day, and my binge were very much planned too. I
Oh.
would, I would start in the morning, I would end at this time, I would have this and this and this, but it started to get very dangerous because I discovered that I could eat and throw up.
Oh, that's dangerous.
So I would know exactly the right foods to eat that would be easier for me to throw up.
Wow.
So then I would do that on my cheat meal because I would be like, oh, and then I'm going to feel good because just tasting the food, but it's not going to be my body because, the calories are going to be out because I'm going to throw
Yep.
up. And then it started to get really bad because I was losing weight by the minute.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Susan, I was 115 pounds.
Wow.
I got to, uh, I got to
And
112 one time.
what how tall are you?
5.
5'5"? Yeah, that's still s not very much.
Yeah, I'm 168 right now,
Yeah.
so that's crazy. And I remember that a friend of mine who lost his aunt to bulimia, so he was very much aware of the signs. And he had a hard conversation with me because he grabbed my hand. He said, Number one, you lost about 20 pounds since I met you, and he grabbed my hand and he saw the scars of because
Oh
I would
gosh,
force
wow.
it, and my teeth would rub on my skin. So he saw that. He saw my throat always very swollen.
Mm,
And then when he had the hard conversations and he told me about his aunt, he said, "That's serious, Amanda. It's
so
very serious." And I kind of I was like, "What am I doing?"
yeah.
And I remember too, and I will never say that it's somebody else's fault, but I remember hanging out with women that were like, I know I throw up sometimes too. Like they were kind of like, they were in that phase where they were like, "Ah, I want to be the hot girl, so whatever it
Yeah.
takes."
Well, I mean, I think it is just like I think every young woman goes through a phase where it's just tough, it's just tough. You're trying to figure out who you are, what you're gonna do, and you don't wanna, you worried about what you look like and yeah.
And then I would say that, bodybuilding gave me a completely different perspective on food.
Mhm. Yes. I think that's bodybuilding, I think, is a big part of my healthy relationship with food, because you got to eat to perform. And the thing is, like, I think the best thing is like, whenever you're satiated with all the nutrients you need, you don't have these crazy, like, desire, like these crazy, want for things. I mean, I can have, my chocolate. I mean, I love the Ninja Creamy, and so I make my protein shakes into ice cream, and it's totally satisfying for me. And even on like my cheat meals, like I'll make a protein creamy, but add like MCT oil, to it, and maybe some honey, and make it, and that's my cheat. So I feel like you just kind of, But once you have the nutrients, it's just crazy how the food chatter goes away. So when people are like, "Oh, my hardest time is when I'm starving in the evening," And it's just like, I guarantee you're just not eating enough. If you eat enough throughout the day, that evening bench time is not that bad. Whenever I'm get hungry in the evening, it's because I know I've missed meals the last couple days. It's like it always
100%.
comes back to that.
Definitely. And I think I've seen, and I don't know about different categories because they all go through different, dietary restrictions when it comes to a prep. I can only imagine what it is for, if you are trying to be as I wouldn't say skinny because they're not even skinny anymore. They're actually pretty muscular bikini girls, but I would assume it's different. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I've seen a lot of people actually developed a bad relationship with food when they get into a bodybuilding prep. But in my case, and I think yours too, you just told me right now, it really helped me.
Well, I'll say my beginning, like I didn't have a coach. I mean, back, my first show was in 2005. So there was no online coaches. I mean, I was at a gym, and somebody, that had competed one time who was a trainer there. She's the one that convinced me. And then I ended up working with another trainer who he had competed once and he was my trainer. And so yeah, I remember going to him like whenever I wasn't losing weight and he didn't give me a diet. He just kind of like told me things that I should be eating, broccoli and chicken and you know, and that's pretty much what I ate. Like I would just eat no fats, chicken. I'd pick off any little bit of fat off the chicken, and vegetables. And I just remember when I said he wasn't losing weight, he's like, okay, well, eat less. And so I'm like, oh gosh. So I was like trying to eat less. And so that gave me a really bad relationship with food because that's a horrible way to diet. And but yeah, it wasn't until I really got like a real coach where, we've talked about this, where it made me carbohydrates, like, I had the hardest time with
Oh
really, like,
no.
rice, like, potatoes, but yeah, that's whenever it all got better.
Yeah. Because I think you also had a phase in your life that you were avoiding carbs too, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. Well, before I was always like, yes, ketogenic diet. Well, I was mostly just protein and vegetables for a long time, not even any fats. And then yeah, I went through a phase where I did the keto diet. But then once I realized that really just like this kind of balanced approach worked so much better for me. So yeah.
And that's what I enjoy from working with Dom is that I don't see a lot of like a lack of any micronutrients for too long. I mean, of course, when you're on prep, you go low on carbs for a few days, but it's not too long. At
Yeah.
least what some of the horror stories that I hear from other women that go months without carbs.
Yeah. I crave fats the most, I feel like, we just have enough fats to do what they need to do, and I feel like that's where, in the off season, I'm always when I my check-ins, I'm like, I might have had some cheese. Like it's always cheese or olive oil or, it's like, things that are not bad, but it's not on plan, but those are the things that if I cheat, it's like it's usually a fat that I add.
When do you right now with your off season being super structured too, do you add anything sometimes or do you still have like a day you follow all the meals and then you have a day that you have your cheat meal or do you pick a few things here and there sometimes?
Yeah, when I was totally in my off season, I'm just trying to build and grow. I want to eat, I'm always make sure I eat my meal plan. And then if I'll have little I'll add things but I always make sure I have my meal plan. But like since the holidays and now I know that I'm transitioning into prep here soon, I am trying to like, okay, we're more on plan, it's like, I'm definitely dialing it in more now. It's like cutting out all the things that I was like, oh, I forgot that I've been adding this and it's not on my meal plan. So
I That's something that I also do like that are I make sure that I'm eating all my meals, that I'm not substituting anything, but then I might have like yesterday, for example, I had half of a protein bar like I shared with Dom because I wanted something crunchy. Or I may add like one or two rice cakes with a little bit of almond butter, just because I like that crunchiness too.
mhm. Yeah.
But it's like all on top of my meals, which
Yeah, and I
before
will. Yeah. and I will
Before,
say,
for me, was that I would skip I would have, let's say, a one meal, second meal, third meal, and then I would go and have like something else, and then I wouldn't be hungry, and then all of a sudden I'm
yeah,
like, shit, I just skipped 2 meals.
yeah, that can be a slippery slope. Um, yeah, I think. Oh, I forgot where I was going to go with that, but yeah. Oh,
Eating
where I was,
eating, right?
yeah, like last year when I had just started with Dom, like I was like really like I in my off season, I was really like all the way on plan, like never deviating. And I kind of feel like that kind of contributed to early burnout, because I was just so like mentally focused on this. And, I kind of treated like off season last year like prep where with my diet. And so I feel like I kind of got burnt out. So like this off season, I've been trying to be more like, you know, "Okay, if I'm really, really craving this, I'm gonna have a little bit," and I always, I'll tell Dom, I'm doing this or, I make sure and say that I'm not 100%, um, but yeah, I've just been allowing I feel like I found I feel good about it, I feel like I feel like to the point where I feel mentally, I feel fresh and I'm kind of like excited to get into a prep where like before I was like in my off season and when I started prep, it really wasn't any different. I mean, the food was different, but like my mental state wasn't, it's like, so
I think a big difference too that you're seeing that I can tell too that you're enjoying it so much is having somebody training you, right? That you so that with that you're seeing a lot of changes in your body, which makes you so excited to get into prep.
mhm,
Which I think that is something that a lot of people are missing. I don't see a lot of people having somebody train them. I see people sometimes training with other people,
yeah,
but I think that it's different because, I mean, if you look at Levina, for example, she went from not training with anybody to then last year having a trainer there in California, and it made a huge difference. And she talks about it all the time, how much of a difference it made for her to
yeah,
have somebody pushing her and telling her that she still has an extra 2 reps. She can do a better form, and that's
yeah,
basically what you're experiencing too. So that
yeah,
contributes to you being excited to get into prep.
yes. Well, and two, like, you know, yeah, having the extra person is great, but the hard part is when we're at this level of competitive as a competitor, it's hard to find somebody to train you that knows how to make you better, because a lot of times, like, I would be training them, so it's like, so finding the right person to train you, and like here in Vegas, it's probably a little easier, back where I come from, like, definitely not. Like, you wouldn't find someone to have knowledge above and beyond what you already know. So that's, I think, what's really cool, just working with someone, pushing you, yeah, getting you, like we were saying earlier, like I hate doing 15 reps. I'd much rather do really heavy weight for 10 reps. But, I'm just doing like that 15 reps, and it's like a mental battle. But yeah, but once you do it, it's like it just is much more gratifying. So yeah, I love working with Stan so far for sure.
But that's one of the biggest like changes that you think that it's happening now. It's like you pushing a little bit more the reps. And, like, it's still keeping a good amount of weight, right? So, potentially, like, the same weight that you would do for 8 reps, you're pushing all the way to 15 to a point where you're like, you didn't even know you could do those extra reps.
Well, I think we're getting there. I mean, like, definitely, like, right out of the gates, it was like, we had to work up, but yeah, we're definitely it's yeah, definitely, whenever it's definitely getting stronger and, and 2, just having someone, spot you, where you really can only do 12 reps with good form, and if you're by yourself, you have to stop, but if you have somebody there spotting you, just helping you get out of the hole or just helping you just get to that lockout, you know, that is really good because in the next week, chances are you can get those last 3 reps, it's just so yeah, working with a spotter that, you know, doesn't it, I get annoyed with spotters, a lot of times I'm just like, don't touch it, but like if you have someone that knows like when to touch it, that's that's a good, that's
I know I get a little bit like that way too sometimes when there is too much help or there is not help, and I'm like, I'm dying here, and you're like, this is the time for you to do a little.
yes.
Um, so another thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I know you're so good at that. Some particular, like, very important supplements in your diet that you feel like it helps a lot with your energy. One of the things that you suggest me to do that helps me a lot is the NAD,
Mm.
especially when I'm like extremely fatigued. There was a time, and I'm still kind of going through it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, like my brain fog comes and goes. So that's something that I have to kind of be a little bit more like proactive in finding out why. You
You have
know,
to
I have
remember with with the NAD, there's like a sweet spot. Like when you do it consistently and you do like heavy doses, there's like diminishing returns. Like so you like it feels really good at the beginning, so you think, oh, this is good, I'm gonna keep doing it. And like you kind of have to cycle it and or use other supplements to kind of counterbalance it because like NAD can be one of those supplements that can make you feel good and they can equally make you feel bad. And and it's hard to like pinpoint what it is, but that's one thing.
what would you say is like your go-to when it comes to like when you're hitting that extremely fatigue or brain fog that it comes with, I mean, both prep and off season sometimes too.
Yeah, I feel like I just try to ride the line, like should I've been doing it long enough that I like with my NAD, like I don't ever overdose it, so I do like kind of a smaller dose like on my rest days, but like whenever I'm in prep and I really hit a wall, that's when I like will up it, and like for a week or so, or maybe do it a couple days in a row, or and like glutathione I feel like is just a must on my rest days too, like just like those kind of not the fancy supplements, not the the fun ones. It's just like it's just recovery, I guess, is the biggest thing to play, like to stay on top of your recovery. And I really feel like as long as I can do that, I usually can feel I mean, prep's always gonna you're always gonna not feel great. But I feel like as long as I can do all the things I know to recover, um, yeah, I feel like I can usually stay ahead of it.
What I remember we spoke about that too, the role of estradiol too. Do you take any like BHRT, hormonal hormone replacement therapy? Like
Yeah, I
it's a combination of progesterone, estradiol, testosterone.
Yeah, so I do all of from my my doctor has prescribed, estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. And yeah, I feel like the progesterone is like a real game changer for me, like for sleep. I really like that. And I will use, I think, this last year I used it all the way through show day. Like I didn't even take it out at all. Um, the estrogen, I've always had a hard time taking it. Like I don't know what it is, like, anytime I've supplemented with it, like, it doesn't make me feel like everybody's like, "Oh, I took estrogen, I feel great." Like, I don't know, I just kinda feel like I'm PMSing, but, I've worked on it, my doctor has, given me a couple other supplements to take with it, and I feel like my body is processing it better, and I've heard things like if you have, like, certain, if you toxins in your body, it can actually and like the estrogens, because estrogens can be toxins, different types of estrogens can be toxins in your body. And so sometimes when you have those in your body and you add, the hormone replacement, it can be not good. But I feel like I've gotten to a place where I can take my estrogen and it makes me feel good.
Good. I Now that you said something about toxins, I definitely need to order for myself some heavy metal toxicity tests.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
actually Yeah, I was talking with my doctor about this, and so we're gonna try to do that too because we take all these supplements, and sometimes if you don't get them from like a pharmacy or from a legit source, who knows what's in them, So
I mean, God knows all the things that, I mean, yeah, I, I eat a good amount of fish my entire life, always had a good amount of fish. I'm not exactly sure which ones hold the most amount of mercury, but I know that I'm constantly eating fish. I used to, not anymore, but cook with aluminum foil for my sweet potatoes a lot.
hmm
Uh, I had a time that I wasn't really on top of putting everything in glasses. It was a lot of plastic.
yeah.
Um, and just there are a lot of things that I needed to kind of get to the bottom of to find out why I have this. But it's something that you also said too, which is interesting. You said that I feel too when I take the estradiol, I'm like, "Oof, I don't know if this is what makes me feel like this, but
Yeah.
it's something I miss."
Yes. But yeah, but it's so important for health, it's like so important for our bones and our brain. So, I've been bound and determined to make sure try to get my estrogen in a good place because bodybuilding, as we all know, just is awful for estrogen.
Yeah, it's not a negotiable thing, right? It's not like, "Oh, I'm not gonna take it 'cause I don't feel too good." It's like, I have to find out a way that I'm gonna take it slowly, progressing slowly every week that my body gets adjusted to it because it's so important for your brain. I mean, especially women, women have a little bit more, like, when it comes to, like, Alzheimer's and dementia, it's more like in the female realm,
Mm,
and, if you do have low already, it's not good for your brain either, and on top of that, bodybuilding doesn't help as much, too much.
You know,
It's like it's one of the things too that for me that I have to, like, really be on it because I
yeah.
already I don't have.
Yes. I'm naturally always have been low too. And I feel like over the years, like I've had trouble taking it, so I haven't really taken it. But now that I'm 46, I'm like, yes, I need to be doing this.
Yeah,
So
and then the testosterone too, do you think that it helps too with energy, strength?
oh yeah, I definitely. I mean, I've been on TRT for a while now, so it's hard to say, but I do remember because I always ran low on testosterone. So so yeah, it made a big difference for me. And but I do like to take just my therapeutic dose from my doctor. I That's one thing that I never like really up. Like I always keep that consistent because that's where you can get some. I feel like the most side effects from is overdosing on testosterone.
100%. And if that is one thing that I would like to share here is that testosterone is a serious thing. And I think that when women see on their plan, if they're not taking for it from a doctor that is prescribing the right dosage, that is, a coach that is suggesting them to take, and they see sometimes, and I'm hoping that a coach is intelligent enough to say, you're going to take 3 milligrams or 5 milligrams a week or whatever, but I notice, at least with our team, that there are a lot of women that when they see those dosages, they feel very confused. It's like 3 milligrams, 5 milligrams. So they always, I mean, I take that back, not always, but sometimes they take upon themselves to up the dosage because in their minds, like 3 milligrams.
Yeah,
So it's very important for them to know that testosterone shouldn't be high. It's
yeah,
something that is going to really, really bring a lot of side effects. Hair, it's the first one to go, and it's very
yeah.
difficult to get it back. Um,
Voice.
voice,
Mhm.
and the hair, all the hair around, beard and stuff, and it's
Yeah,
just like it's really serious because we had a few consultations with few women the last couple months that were taking 30, 40, 50. And I'm like, and they were all dosages given to their previous coaches. And some of them just took upon themselves because they correlate with whatever else, like whatever they hear from the guys, right? So if the guys are taking 400 milligrams or 500 milligrams or whatever, I don't even know the dosage right now. TRT would be 200 to 180 for men, right? But if they're taking the non-physiological numbers for bodybuilding, then she goes and she suggested 3 milligrams. She goes like, "What? What is that gonna do? Oh,
yeah,
that's gonna do a lot."
yeah. Well, I feel like, if someone's taking that much, they probably will feel like shit if they just drop it down. But I just think like, because I know at one point my doctor prescribed 40 milligrams to me, like a doctor I don't have anymore. But
Oh my
and
gosh.
when your doctor prescribes it, you don't really ask questions, and so I just started taking it, and this is back when I was powerlifting, and boy, I felt so strong. I was feeling so good, and then all of a sudden I was like, my voice was like really getting like I always felt like I was getting like a sore throat, like I was getting sick, and what's wrong with me? I'm getting sick. And then eventually I started noticing like my voice, like I couldn't clear my throat, and and I feel like yeah, I luckily figured it out like within like a month or so, but at that point, I'd already gotten to the point where I feel like my voice is still, like, permanently changed from it.
I mean, I know a few people too that only did that. They never added anything else of the cycles that comes with, bodybuilding and stuff, and they had pretty big changes. So it's kind of hard sometimes to pinpoint because when it comes to prep, we know explore a few different things, but that alone will
Yeah.
change a lot of things.
Yeah, and
And
it's
um and I think that is a time like our category has been changing a lot, and I think that I am okay with delivering the body that I want, with signing off on a few things that I kind of agreed with to, you know, be be on, and some things is non-negotiable, some things I'm okay with, but
mhm,
I'm not going to push the boundaries to go and try to fit into a category and potentially win or be top 5 or top 3 on Olympia, whatever the case may be, but then have things that I'm never gonna be okay with when I get to my 50s or my 60s. I just don't wanna that doesn't interest me.
yeah, and some people don't care, like, some people are fine with it, like, and to
Yeah,
each
and
their own.
that's to each their own,
Yeah,
absolutely. I just think that is important for for women to know that there will be a time that things will change. It's not if, it's when. But if they're okay with that, they're okay with that. If their husbands are okay with that, they're okay with that. So then that's fine.
yeah,
I think it's just as matter as long as they are, I would say, right? As long as they are healthy within, like making sure that they are taking care of the heart, and and all the things that could potentially change too. No do a calcium score, whatever the case may be. But if their you know features don't matter as much, then okay,
yeah, exactly.
fine. I like now one thing that I don't like so much what's going on in the category, and I don't know, again, I really don't want to ever say something is a fact without knowing, but when there are then the use of the oils, I mean, adding the addition in the muscle, I think kind of sucks for us because it's so fun to compete with women who are we're kind of like in even ground when we are okay with, okay, so we are not doing it naturally. Okay, nobody is. It's not an even ground. Fine. But we are all kind of even in that aspect, right? We all agreed we are on IFBB Pro, we are doing certain things great. Whatever other tools that we have now to modify our bodies, we're going to train and we're going to eat. So now it's really depending on how well the person can execute, how well the person can stay in the game, mind, body, team, that's cool. So we can all compete with that. Now it kind of sucks when the oils is, added because then
Yeah.
it's like,
I don't know, I kinda feel like they're all I think it's all part of it, like, once you're not in a natural federation, I just feel like, it's all, you're not playing, it's like anything kinda goes and, if people wanna do it, great. I don't wanna do something to my body like that, um, but yeah, I don't feel like it's much different than taking other PEDs.
yeah, but then I feel like if I can add something here and give the illusion in one day, it's like the PDs will help me to execute the exercises in the gym. This is like giving me an instant bulk.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like it's definitely not a route I wanna go, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like, it
For
is what it
it's
is.
it's whatever they wanna do, whatever they in their mind is like whatever it takes to win, I guess, so
Yeah.
so be it. But yeah, no, I definitely don't because I mean, I don't know much about it in terms of what could potentially happen, if it goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm
I can't
assuming
imagine, like, it's putting stuff in your face is, like, hard to get it to look right. I mean, if you're putting in your bunch in your body, like, you know, I don't know, it's
I know, and it's really hard to, like, fix it if it's not done correctly.
can't
Because
imagine.
I remember when I did it under my eyes, I'm like, "Holy shit, I want this off," and we tried, and it would come back all the time.
Yeah.
It was difficult, but yeah, I just, that is something that I kind of feel a little weird about it. But again, like you said, it's just it is what it is, and it's everybody's decision to do it or not to do it.
Yeah.
It just became a little bit out of control. How I don't know about how you think about that, but how like it kind of put a weird like shine in our category because we could be a category it's already a category that lack a few love in the industry, and then I think that when there is a shine, like a light shining on it, is like gossip and like two big two of the biggest names of the category going against each other. Is like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it is kinda gross.
I'm
And
like, you
it's
guys could do better. Like for us, do it for us, man. Like do something like. And we talked about that in the last episode too, like Denalyn Bailey times, like something fun, you know. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know what ended up transpiring because one of my commitments to when I went to Brazil was to stay a little bit off
like, good
social
job.
media and off of YouTube.
Yeah.
I had people sending me, like, stuff on DMs, and I was like, "Ah, I don't even wanna, like, comment. I don't care."
Yeah. Yeah. That was I think that's good. You needed
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But it was fun to get you back, Susan. I don't wanna take too long because I guess we had our, catching up to prior to starting the podcast, so we've
Yeah.
been here for a while. But, I really hope to see you. I know, we live in the same city, but sometimes we don't see each other for a long time, so I hope to see you soon,
Yeah.
especially now that you're gonna start your prep, maybe before you start your prep. I don't think you're the kind of person that stay too long in a prep, right? You don't have to, do you?
Um, I mean no, I mean, I feel like I'm not starting from I don't have a ton of body fat to lose. I feel like I'm in a better place than I was to start a last prep, but yeah. So, I think it'll be, we'll probably start at like 12 weeks out. So,
Yeah.
we
I
might
f
not diet hard until 8 weeks out.
Yes, yes. That's what I kinda tell myself too. I'm like, "We're gonna start 12 weeks," and then by, really by 8 weeks, then it's like, okay, we're
Yeah.
kinda, like, getting a little more serious, and then by 6 weeks, that's when I feel like my body starts changing really
Yeah.
crazy. But if I do anything longer than even, like, really hardcore 10 weeks, then
Yeah.
I'm like, uh, I feel super, like, depleted and, like, bleh.
Yeah. I feel like your body's especially like that. It just like responds quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My body needs a lot of food, and I was eating a lot too, since in Brazil. Like I wasn't super strict, but I was still eating a good amount of food, and I was losing weight.
Well, I feel like whenever I go on vacation and, go off plan and I always lose weight. But the thing is, it's just because I go on vacation and all of my training inflammation goes away and I
Oh
lose
yeah.
weight. And then like I come back and I think I come back and I'm like, 3 pounds lighter than when I went. And then I go have my first session with Stan and train legs. And all of a sudden it's like now I'm like 6 pounds up because the training inflammation comes back. And yeah, I usually don't end up losing weight. It's just water that I
Water. Yeah, that is true. The inflammation, and yeah, that is true. But I think we are such a like different demographic that here we are like saying we lose weight after we come back from vacation. Meanwhile, everybody's going crazy because everybody's like 10 pounds heavier.
so whenever you came back, like you were lighter, even after you got back into training, you've been sore, like your weight is still down. Oh,
No, it came back a little bit, but I don't have that pop, like
yeah.
nice.
But you're
Yeah,
just in the
it's just
total off season too. You've been just totally natural and that happens too. You kind of just
I
flat.
can't wait. I mean, I don't like there was a couple weeks prior to prior even to New Year's Eve, like Dom was like, "Are you ready to start?" And I was like, "I don't want to start here now, because I just want to start when I go back home because then I can really, And
Yeah, you
he's
need to focus.
like, "That's great. That's better. I love that you have, that mindset." And I was like, and I wasn't ready for the stuff. I was like, "I don't wanna think about it right now." But
Yeah.
now that I'm back, and then I'm back at training, and then my body's just like, "Fuck you," and I'm like, I like, I'm ready to go back.
Yeah.
I need to at least feel like I can squat like a little bit better than I did today because today was ridiculous. Like stupid, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Thank you so much, Susan, and keep in touch with me. I hopefully I'm gonna see you. Maybe I can catch a training session with Stan before you arrive or after you're done.
Yeah.
So we can cross paths there too.
That'd be fun.
Alrighty, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.